evening, everyone. And so, as the title suggests, I'll be speaking about the use of humor in insurance ad in Super Bowl. So, well, in the advertising field, a lot of researchers found that humor is actually a very important element when you create ads. So, a research conducted by Weinberger and Gulas stated that 94% of the advertising practitioners has seen humor as an effective way to gain attention. And on the other side, actually, use of humor that ridicules or disparages any social group can provoke negative brand attitudes among viewers who empathize with the target or who simply find such mockery distasteful. Well, it is very interesting to look at how humor is used in those insurance commercial because, as we all know, insurance is boring. And when we usually think about insurance company, we basically come up with the conclusion that they'll show threats and serious appeals in their ad. Whereas we have tried to come up with the ads of the companies that try to use humor in their ad, even though it means offending some target group or going through that are going through some hardship or genuinely need insurance. So first of all, we have the first ever insurance ad that has ever been telecasted on for during the Super Bowl. So let me show the ad to you.
We love the sound when you went.
Not to brag or nothing, but I'm pretty much the most amazing apple ever. I had a girl. Yes, you're a rep. You're a rep. Make me proud.
Mayhem has been and always will be everywhere.
Very well. So I hope the advertisement was clear to you all. So this was an insurance ad created by Allstate, and it is called Mayhem's Forbidden Apple. So, and also we can see that there were two types of, sorry for that. So there were two types of humor that was used in this ad. First was exaggeration. Well, the ad actually magnifies the consequences of, like encountering a mayhem and a single apple, taking a tiny risk and blowing it up into a disastrous situation. It also uses absurdity, like the idea that a forbidden apple can create such a large chaos is very absurd. Also, the actually the ad in a way also expresses the character Mayhem, and the disaster is very interesting. So we see Mayhem knock over an oil lamp, spark the great Chicago fire, and then laugh at the disaster he has caused. It is pretty hilarious because it takes what normally a very serious topic and presented it in a very humorous way so that the audience can take it lightly and have a good laugh. So we see that all the elements of humor not only make audience laugh but also drive to the main idea that minor issues can quickly turn into major problems, and we should not underestimate any small mistakes. We have actually chronically arranged all our ads. So next up we have the ad for Cure Auto Insurance, which was advertised in 2021 Super Bowl. So the ad used double entendre and innuendo, relying on suggestive language to create humor. Let me play the ad for you, and that will make it more clear.
He just brought me into his
Maybe
office.
leave it in the small format because the previous one conked out when it was full screen.
Understood. Okay, let me play it as it is then.
Miss Davis, Tommy just brought me into his office and whipped out his opinion.
Tommy? I didn't just whip it out. She was into it. Plus, I have a pretty big opinion.
Oh, please, it's not that big.
She only gave me a second.
Tommy, not everyone in this office wants your opinion.
Okay, well, how about you? Last week at happy hour when you begged me for my opinion.
I had a picture of margaritas. I would have taken Doug's opinion.
You would?
No.
We can't protect your opinion, but we can protect your car. Sure Auto Insurance.
Very well. So, as you can see that the commercial actually played on the phrase "whip it out" in a workplace setting, implying that employees were referring to their insurance policy, but the wording and delivery made it sound like something much more inappropriate, which would actually be implying to sexual harassment in the workplace. Well, the approach attempted to be edgy and attention grabbing, but it ended up with trivializing serious workplace issues, including sexual harassment. So, well, the ad actually sparked controversy because it made fun of situations where employees, especially female employees, often get uncomfortable or unsafe due to inappropriate remarks. Well, instead of being seen as funny, it was criticized for being tone deaf and reinforcing problematic workplace dynamics. Well, this example actually shows us the risk of using humor in sensitive contexts. While humor can make a boring topic like insurance ad more engaging, it can also lead to backlash and damage a brand's reputation if not executed carefully.
Miss Davis, Tommy just brought.
Just a sec. Okay. So next up, we have the progressive insurance ad, which was telecasted in 2024, and the ad was called "Getaway Driver." Let me play the ad for you.
Everybody get their banking done?
Let's go, drive, we gotta go.
Someone's in a hurry. And one Mississippi, two Mississippi. Yeah, faster. Oh, no, sorry. You see, I get discounts for my safe driving with Snapshot from Progressive. You should see my savings. They're nuts.
You told us he was a skilled wheelman.
No, I'm a wheelman. His family name on my mother's side. Irish.
Okay. So, well, the ad uses juxtaposition and creates humor through contrast of getaway drives, actually usually being fast and reckless, versus Jamie, the progressive agent, being a super cautious getaway driver. Well, the contrast elicits amusement and keeps a user engaged. Despite the premise of the ad depicting crime, the humor effectively highlights the importance of safe driving and the value of reliable insurance coverage, which in turn reinforces progressive brand commitment. So these were the three ads that we analyzed for different type of humors. And next up, we actually tried to look up for the ads in 2025, but there were no insurance ad in the Super Bowl. Shocking, right? Because, with the recent LA wildfires, insurance companies like State Farm and Progressive and GEICO and Allstate, well, they chose to cut out their advertising budgets to focus on distributing recovery funds to affected customers. And there were several other reasons as well, because it was also due to evolving preferences and external socio-economic factors here and there, and a heightened sensitivity to customers' need. So there were no insurance ad in 2025 Super Bowl. Well, with this, we have come to the hypothesis by analyzing different type of social media, so different type of Super Bowl ad that, well, the humor in traditionally perceived topics like boring industries like insurance increases audience engagement, brand recall, and also the message retention rate, leading to a broader reach compared to non-humorous content. So this is our key takeaway from all the research we did while on the insurance ad that uses humor. So next up, we have like future research plan that could be taken to show actually reinforce our hypothesis, which show that the methodology that we were suggesting to take is show as that uses humor versus the ad that doesn't use humor in insurance ad to participant group, and then collect the responses through surveys and behavior tracking, because there is not much research that has been done on using humor in insurance ad. So this is our suggestion, and we would like to take a few key matrices to analyze that, if we were able to analyze which ads actually appeals to the audience more. So our key metrics are ad recall, brand perception, and purchase intent. So we after the to prove our hypothesis, we would expect an outcome. If the humor ad is effective, humorous ad will have higher recall and engagement than the non-humorous one. So these are the sources that we used for our presentation and the research work that we did. And thank you so much for hearing me. And that's all from my side. And I'm open to questions now.
Thank you. Great. And indeed, we have ample time for questions and comments.
One aspect that I don't think you highlighted is that this is a recurring character. He's not just a cautious driver. He is sort of the loser advertiser, and they've built like a whole background story with I mean, there's Flo, who's the super achiever, etc. But then Jeremy is like the kind of not a failure, but he's naive, or he's the rookie who's learning, right? And so this fits in with this long development of the character. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand that.
But that's not a criticism. I'm just saying more to think about.
Yes, definitely. We'll again take a more do a more research analysis on that part for sure.
There's Joe's hand again.
I know, me again. Another element that might improve brand recall is the lead character, which Sal was just talking about. You said that GEICO did not advertise in the Super Bowl, but they have a character, the GEICO gecko, and anytime you see that gecko, you immediately know it's a GEICO commercial, and you remember the name of the insurance company because GEICO sounds like gecko. So I think that's a good example of an element in the commercial that I think the commercials are also funny, the GEICO commercials, but just because it has that additional element that adds to it ties the name of the company to the character, and so I would think that also helps brand recall, as opposed to the Mayhem commercial where the character Mayhem is always causing trouble and causing accidents. I would have to really work to remember, oh, is that Allstate? Is he the guy in the Allstate commercial? They're entertaining and I enjoy watching them, but maybe going from watching the commercial to recalling Allstate might be tougher in that situation because there isn't that strong connection between what you're seeing and the name of the company. But the humor, I agree, it probably does help the Allstate Insurance get its message across, but you still have to remember the name of the company.
That's true, but we actually took an example of Cure Auto Insurance as well, which also uses humor, but it actually caused a controversy instead. So
I was thinking of Cure, and I wouldn't remember, and they said the name at the very end, but I wouldn't remember the name of the company. So maybe that's a good thing if the commercial really made people angry that they didn't remember the name of the company that was advertising.
that's true, but it actually made them famous because a lot of news channels covered it. So actually, people got to know the name. It was
I
New York Post.
I missed the story. Sorry.
Yeah, any publicity is good publicity, even if it's
Yes.
not. Yeah, that's a good point because the GEICO ad they started in 1991 and they're credited with this whole using humor with insurance companies. They're like it had never been done before, and it's like, oh, and for that exact reason, because GEICO is a funny name, and so they wanted the gecko, GEICO. Same with the Aflac duck, in that line, and so insurance companies it feels like all of them jumped on the bandwagon and said, oh, this actually works. People aren't offended. We also talked a little bit about how they're usually just car and auto insurance. You rarely see like life insurance or, medical insurance. So it's sort of targeted to things that are less scary, I guess, or I don't know. Or Anushka, could you maybe talk a little bit more about that?
I'm sorry?
Oh, could you talk a little bit about the type of insurance that these ads covered and
Yes.
how that relates to humor?
That's so we actually looked for ads during Super Bowl. So there is not majority of ads that are covered. When we looked at the ad, we found that auto insurance is the main form of insurance ad that uses humor, because other ad that covers house insurance or life insurance, if you use humor in that, that would be pretty offensive. And not all the insurance company are out there to use humor in those ads and create offense to people. So auto insurance is on the other side, is a safer genre, I would say, where humor could be plugged in or it could be pitched in without offending more people. So that's why we decided to go ahead with this genre, and we found more ads in this genre itself rather than the other. There were only 2 or 3 ads that we found with life insurance and progressive. We know that they have life insurance as well, and they cover other type of insurance as well. But they're also on it while advertising. Their main focus is on auto, because they know that this is the type of humor that people can take rather than life, or it is talking about property.
I think another element too is that they had mentioned was the younger viewers, younger insurance buyers that would relate to humor. And I think car insurance would probably be the most relevant for them. They're not buying life insurance. They're probably getting medical insurance through their parents or employers. So I think that's another key when looking at the matching the humor with the audience, with the product.
Another example of that sort of character and product is Carfax has the Car Fox, and Carfax gives you accident reports for cars that you might be considering buying. So that follows the pattern of the GEICO gecko and the Aflac duck, and I think it's pretty effective for tying the name of the brand to the commercial, and then the message. At least you'll remember what the ad is advertising.
Mm-hmm.